Before I get into the review, there is a little bit of backstory that we need to understand. So this is Charles Dickens, the British author. He wrote a book for his children called The Life of Our Lord, which was a more dramatic and sometimes humorous retelling of the life of Jesus Christ. Now, Dickens didn't want this book published. Henry Fielding Dickens, the last surviving son of Charles Dickens, gave permission to print it. So it was many years after Dickens' death before the book was printed. Now, this is the pretext for what the story is based on, because in the beginning of the movie, Charles Dickens is giving a dramatic retelling of a Christmas story in a theater to an audience, which is something that Dickens would have done in his lifetime. During and after this retelling, Dickens is having a hard time with his son, Walter, who loves castles, knights, and kings. So when the family goes home, his wife, Catherine, suggests that Dickens read the story, The Life of Our Lord, to Walter, thus setting up this film, which is the retelling of the life of Jesus Christ. Now, this movie is meant for younger audience members to learn and even ask questions about the life of Christ. It goes through several miracles and life events of Jesus Christ, such as feeding the 5,000, raising Lazarus from the dead, healing the sick, and saving the woman from stoning. And yes, it does do this somewhat quickly because it has to, because it's a kid's movie. But there are two important things that this movie does. First is that it simplifies biblical language. So, for example, instead of saying, "Let he who is without sin cast the first stone," it would be, "Anyone here who has never sinned can throw the first stone." Now, I'm paraphrasing. I'm not sure that's exactly what they said, but that was the principle. Also, it shows what Jesus endured without the violence. For example, it shows when he was whipped, but it does it behind barriers so that the audience doesn't actually see it. So the movie takes Walter on this journey and it allows him to experience these events, which was really powerful. And it does this really interesting shift from third person to second person participant, which was both moving and it was unique. I'm not sure that there has ever been a retelling of the life of Christ in second person. Also, I cannot say enough positive about Kenneth Branagh. Kenneth Branagh voices Charles Dickens, who is also the narrator. He was such a fantastic storyteller. Absolutely amazing. He is telling the story with that comforting voice that leads the audience along without dominating the story. The cast is in fact filled with a lot of big names, including Kenneth Branagh, Oscar Isaac, Pierce Brosnan, Mark Hamill, Ben Kingsley, Uma Thurman, and Forrest Whitaker. It was definitely a stacked cast. Now, when I went and watched the movie, it was mostly families with their children, both young and old, who were watching it together, which is how the movie should be watched. Is the movie accurate to the biblical story? Generally, yes. I mentioned earlier about the simplified language, but there was a reason that they did that. There were some small details that I wondered about why they made those changes, but they were mostly inconsequential and they didn't have any bearing on the overall narrative. My score as a family-friendly retelling of the Bible would probably be at an A. It is a very good movie to introduce to children or new Christians the life of Jesus Christ. But have you seen The King of Kings? What are your thoughts on the movie? Let me know in the comments. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you next time.